So we're back at this pond, and it's not running very well at the minute. There is a leak on this line. I think I mentioned it before, and the leak's just got to the point where it's leaking too much. And obviously drum filters don't really like it when there's a change in water, and the ball valve's struggling to keep up. And I don't know where the leak is. I've tried to find it. Anyway, it's getting fiberglassed. So shortly this line is all coming out, and these fish are all moving into a temporary tank, which I've already set up. So I thought I'd do a quick video on this temporary tank setup. It is 2 tanks. So we've got this green one and this black one. And don't mind the muck in here, I'm cleaning it out. So this is the cleaning it out bit. So we've got these tanks, they're both linked together. So the pipe comes out that 4-inch and then straight into this T junction here. Let's move that. There you go. And then out that 4-inch into this T, and then into the pump, over the top, into the UV, into the heater. So obviously the heater on this pond, it's a little bit early in season, and last week, well, I had an outside pond last week that managed to get to 17 degrees on its own. One of these type of tanks, it was in sun. And then this week the heater's come on to keep it from dropping below 14 degrees. So that's what I put this heater on. I've just put it on to make sure it's not going to go too cold. We're not actually going to be heating. These dogs are nuts. The dog really likes water. So yeah, the dog's found a leak. Telling me there's a leak there. So yeah, the heater's just going to be keeping the temperature stable between day and night. Nothing too dramatic on the heating, but yeah, pretty decent setup. It goes into the OA's drum, out of that. So this bit, I'm not sure it's good. I've never gravity fed a spray bath, but in there's a spray bath onto that super rack, and then it's going to run out of there into that, and then this one's going to go into that. So they've both got a feed. So hopefully about half of water's going this way and half of it's going that way, and then they're both getting a good circulation. And let's have a look. Look at that, water's coming up. So yeah, I'm going to just fill it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to drop it out. Probably just take that black pipe off there, since it's leaking anyway. But I know why it's leaking. I ain't tightening it up yet. I do need to tighten them all up. So I haven't actually gone through the process of properly tightening them all up, so they were expected to leak. Yeah, so this is the setup, and I thought I'd do a quick video on it. So we're going to have, I'll show you the fish going in, I'll show you it all running, and then I'll probably show you the liner coming out of that tank, and then after that I can get on with doing that tank. Now I'll make another video on fiberglassing this tank, getting it all set up. There we go, see you shortly. Let's release this. I think the dog's going to be pleased. It's already in it. There we go. Mind you, most of the water I think is in this tank, so it's actually slightly lower. That tank's sat on feet and that one isn't. I needed to raise it up to get them same height. So obviously when you're running 2 tanks like this, 1, 2, and they're linked together, they need to be the same height. Even if you're like, obviously they're not exactly the same height, but like I could have just put 1 brick under it, but it'd have been about here, and that's fine. But then that means you've got to have this tank too full and that tank too empty. So if you're better off getting them as level as possible, then I can run this tank about here and run this tank about here. Whereas if I had dropped it down a little bit, this tank could have been running right at the top. Yeah, right, it'd been running right at the top, and then this tank could have been like down here, so that's not been very useful. Yeah, I need to spray some mud. But what I do when I set these ponds up as well, I'll show you in a second, is I'll fill them up, I'll get them running, and then I'm going to put some chlorine in it, run all that route system, drain it all out, And then I know that if that goes wrong with the fish that go in here, it weren't because there were anything in this water. You know, the water's clean at that point. And I think having a sterile environment when you're transferring fish like this is a lot better. Obviously the media, it kills all the media back. It's all dead anyway, you know, but it'll quickly mature and quickly get back into a running condition, and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's continue cleaning this out. So there we go, we're filling up. I've cleaned it out a little bit, not gone mad. Like I say, I'm just going to put a bit of chlorine in it. Just got a bit of chlorine in there. It's just swimming pool chlorine. I'm only going to put about a quarter of a cup in, just to, it's not to like sterilise the system. I don't need it to end up taking all algae off its side. I just need it to kill any bad bacteria or anything living. I doubt there'll be anything living. These ponds have been dry for all winter, but it just sterilises it a little bit. So yeah, and then I'll drain it and flush some fresh water through it, and then I'll fill it up with pond water and let it run for a day. So we're not there won't be any chlorine in it when the fish go in. I know this is a bit of an excessive situation, you know, with these tanks for a temporary setup, but I had these laying around. Normally I'd use my blue tank, but I'm using it. Funny enough, I'm using that and not these. But never mind. I need to take them stuff out before it fills up. Yeah, so it's a not a bad little setup really. Obviously it doesn't look too amazing, but for a temporary setup I think they'll be quite comfy in here. Could I got away with one of them? Maybe for a short period of time, but the reason for using two of these tanks is I don't know 100% how long the fish are going to be in here. Say if they're just in this green one, you've probably got a limit of like a month before you start having a bit of trouble with too many fish in a small area. Whereas in both of these tanks, you're not going to have any trouble with big fish in a small area, because they'll be spread out enough, and the water volume's there. It's not necessarily the space exactly, it's the volume of water. So let's say if I put all the fish in this tank and left that one empty, at least you've got that volume of water attached to this tank, and it'll make it a little bit easier on the fish. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the setup. I'm quite pleased with how it's gone together actually. It's been moving them around here, obviously I didn't film that bit, it were quite stressful, because this tank in particular is very heavy. But yeah, there we go. I need to set up a drain yet, so the drain's just going there. It's probably just going to fill this wheelbarrow up with it. But yeah, there we go. Let's wait for it to fill up and I'll get back to you. I have got two jobs to do before the fish go in. I'm going to sort the electrics out. Obviously it needs to be a bit more weatherproof, because that's crap. And then the heater, I'm going to swap the heater. The heater's just got a plug on it. I'm going to swap it to a 16 amp socket and then run it over to that. So there's 3 outlets on that, and I'm only using 2 of them. One for water pump and air pump and UV light that are on a normal sockets. So I'm going to have to change that as well, so I can run 3 things instead of just the 2. This one's the drum filters socket, and then obviously the third one's going to be the heat pump socket. So I prefer not to plug. I mean, you're alright plugging these things in, but not on an extension. It's not ideal. But on a 16 amp line, it'll be fine. Yeah. So I just need to get the electrics done, and then probably plumb some sort of drain in, and that's it. So, but it don't matter until there's fish in it. Right, let's give it a try. I don't know if it's actually going to run, because there's not much water in this tank, but I've lost patience. I've got enough patience for that. But there's plenty of water in this tank. It actually shows you the sort of how much deeper this one is than that one. Because obviously this one's got the feet on it. Yeah. Not much water in that one really. It's all just sort of going into this one still. Let's try it. Let's see if it runs. Why not? Right. And switch it on. It's running. Can you hear it pumping? No, it's not pumping. Probably not turn it on. Is it? Oh, it's pumping. Yeah. You can hear water going in there. So it is pumping. It's filling the drum up. Let's try it. I'm going to get wet through, aren't I? Why am I doing this? Why? Why must I mess about? Yeah, water. Yeah, I can't wait to see if this bit works. I'm hoping that there's sort of enough head out. There's quite a bit of head out there to just push around this system. And I'm sort of also hoping that it doesn't all just prefer to go this way and somebody goes over that spray bar. But I might put I can always reduce this to 1 inch. Put a 1.5 inch to 1 inch outlet on it and see if a 1 inch pipe restricts it enough to make it go over the spray bar. We'll find out in a minute when it oh, there's a bit of water there. I'm presuming that's all of the water flow. Have a look. Some going on at spray bar. Some going on at spray bar. Not much, so that dropping it down to 1 inch might not be a bad idea. Oh, you can smell the chlorine. I didn't put much in, like I said, but you can smell it. It's oh, that's not bad actually. Yeah. If I block that one, block this one off, this more comes out that way. Yeah, it's coming out a bit faster, I think. That's not bad. It's not bad flowing, right? What I'll do is I'll try and make it so that they're both. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more water going in here now. Look at that. That's a lot more water. I'll try and equal it up though. There'll be a way to do it. Even if I twist that T-pipe there and have it going across and then down, so that it doesn't. So that it's not facing down, because obviously that'll help. But what I'll do is I'll try and even them up. I'll get a bucket and I'll time it, fill in the bucket so that the same amount of water goes both ways pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty decent that. We've got flow. So let me just put the drum filter. I can't do it on camera now even. So let's get the drum running. Right, the drum filter's plugged in, let's turn around. I hope it works. Obviously it hasn't been running quite some time. Let's get it turned on. There we go. Oh, sounds good. You're just waiting for water to come out of there. Hey! And muck. Wow. It's already kicking muck out at the system. That's not bad. Don't know what temperature that is. 12 degrees. Cold, that tap water. Yeah, let's have a play with this. See if I can balance out the water coming both ways. And I'll get back to you. Right, there we go, I'm quite pleased with that. They're actually quite balanced, so I've just levelled it up a little bit, but I need to put something in here to support it or whatever, and I put that on, and I don't know if it needs that, but there's pretty similar flow rate flowing out them than there is to that, so I'm quite pleased with that. Obviously this goes through an extra media, which is, so it's nice that that's getting more water. One of the things I could have done is probably put a pipe, just let all the water flow into that and put a pipe on the outlet of that one and bring it in here. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea if I did that, but there's plenty of spray in there anyway, so there's plenty of water just trickling over that bit of tip rack. It were only, I had it and I put it on there. I don't think it needs it. We're going to be trickling in plenty of fresh water, and that drum filter's good enough to do it on its own anyway, so I don't think it needs it. The fish generally won't really be fed while they're in here. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm just going to stop the water filling up at that rate, so I'm just going to leave it about this full, that's full enough, and just let that chlorine circulate for a day. Right, it's Friday, so fish are going in now, and I have actually drained this and filled it back up again to get rid of the chlorine water, and now I'm going to drain it again and then fill it up with actual pond water, so it's just circulated the system, got it all nice and clean. As you can see, the ponds, there's little bits of muck on bottom, and the fish will scoop that into the drain. But yeah, there's a couple of little changes I'm going to make, but it's going to be when fish go in. The heater needs I'll show you what I'm doing as changes go on, but it's only a temporary system, so it's not end up well. Yeah, right, let's get on with draining it. So to drain it, I'm just going to take the inlet off of it here, off the pump, and it'll just slowly drain. Right, there you go, that's it draining. Just took it off. No problem. So I'm just going to let it drain out. It had, well, actually can't tell now, but it had got a small leak on this bottom drain. I did tighten it up, the screws on it, and it did slow it right down. Then when I drained it, I tightened it up again when it was dry, and now it seems to leak a little bit more, as you would imagine. So it's just going down that drain there. Right, let's leave that, and then we'll fill it up with pond water. We're pulling water out of the pond, and it's coming out here, and we're just running it around the tank just to make sure anything sat in the bottom lines has just gone out, and then there's none of the original water or chlorine in it. That wouldn't be ideal. Right, we're filling it up. So we're draining the pond. So we got that one going in and that one going in. So hopefully it'll not take very long to fill up at all. Quite a bit of water. That one's a 20,000 litre waste pump that we saw running out. Submersible pump, and that one is that old petrol pump there just ticking over. I don't know. I don't think it's going to take long to fill up. Yeah, I've just put the pump back on. That's pumping out here. Close that, and then the filter should fill up. We'll be running. Let's have a look at the pond. Yeah. Dropping down, there's the waste pump, and then there's the intake for this petrol pump. If you're wondering what's happening, I best turn that water off. Right, let's get them filled. I'll see you in a second. Right, that's it, we're full. Not bad ice actually. Yeah. So it's overflowing there and there. I don't know why that one's overflowing because that tap's turned off, but maybe it's not quite turned off. I don't know. Anyway, it's overflowing, doesn't really matter. Yeah, that needs something on it to move the water away. But yeah, that's good. Nice and full. I've got an air pump to put in. Yeah, pleased with that. Let's have a look at the pond. So yeah, them two tanks hold just less than half the pond's volume, and yeah, it looks alright. Fish aren't too upset. It's only 11 degrees this water, so it's not like they're going to be flying around. So now it's just a case of moving them out of this tank into them two tanks. And fish are all in here. They seem to be enjoying it actually. I had one attempt to jump, so that's not bad that. At least it didn't actually get out. But yeah, they're going to be netted over in a minute. Show you it all netted. Well, I'll show you fish before I net it out. There's 25 fish in this tank because the little ones are in this tank. The bottom drain's just got a mesh on it, so the little ones can't end up going down. So there are a couple of small ones, and then this one's got 19 in it. So, but this one's got a little bit bigger gap round bottom drain, so I think a little fish might get down there if it really wanted to. And it's starting to rain, which is good timing. Yeah, nice fish. It's nice to look at fish like this. I think you don't realise sometimes how nice fish are until you start getting them out and messing about with them. You just get used to them being in the fish tank, and then when you get them out and have a good look at them, you think, oh, actually, well, I'm like that with my fish. Anyway, I'll be surprised how many nice fish I've got when I start moving them about. But yeah, look really good in these tanks. It's a question between, do you go for black fiberglass or green fiberglass? although I think there are more red and white fish in this tank. And this one's got the cover round, so not quite a fair comparison. So there we go, fish are happy, let's get them covered up. Might just alter this a little bit, and they'll be happy in there for a few weeks. So there we go, I've got half the lining out, and the actual hole where it was leaking was in this corner. Right here, look, this is where it was leaking. So what's caused that is it were sat up like that because of this crease down here, and then on top of that there's also a joint in the liner just there. Look, if you can see it, but I put my fingers under it like that, the joint in liner, so it's just probably had a bit much stress on joint at liner, and there you go, you got an hole. Right, put torch on, like that. There we go, look. There you go, you can see a lot better like that. Look. Quite a big hole really, so you know, it just, well, I've just made it bigger then, but yeah, that's what we're causing the problem. But it's getting fiberglassed. So there we go, that's the liner out and the pond drain. I'm just going to let that last bit dry up over the weekend. So I'll get a weekend off finally. Let's leave that to that. It always amazes me how much bigger they look when there's no much water. No, I can't talk, I'm tired. When there's no water left in the tank, it always amazes me how much bigger they look. Let's have a look at the fish. There you go, that's the cover over that one. This one's actually how I want it set up. That one's got that insulation board on it because I need to get another cover for it. But for tonight it's going to have this insulation board on it. So yeah, the fish should be happy in here. I still need to put a tank on end of that instead of my dumper. But there we go, that's it. Finished. Right, if you like this video then please like it. If you want to see more fish related videos and the rest of this pond build, then please feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments then please put them down below, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.